gets out, and we're racing in MotoGP here in Catalunya. It's a great start from pole position once again by Pedro Acosta, who tries to shut up Alex Marquez on the long run down to the first corner. They go left, they go right. It's going to be Acosta as the advantage on the brakes, and here's Martin, another dynamic start from Martin, briefly up into fourth place. Izzy trying to go a long way around the outside of Frankie Morbidelli. Ralph Fernandez on the inside of Alex Marquez going through three, but it's Acosta that leads.
Yeah, Costa from Alex Marquez and Ralph Fernandez. Martin is in fourth place. He had a blistering start straight down the right hand side of the racetrack. Bezzecchi, his teammate, also up too. He's up into ninth place, of course. Binder out of the way.
Significant early move by Fernandez, albeit briefly on the inside of Alex Marquez, and the brakes into turn four. That's not an easy move to make with a full fuel tank, and now he's going for it once again into five. This is going to be tight. Fernandez was strong in that turn five here yesterday, so Fernandez and Alex Marquez have already had 2 or 3 moves on this first lap.
And Martin jockeying with Zarco, and he's now attacking Alex Marquez. Martin, it's going to be tough to get through there. Contact between the two Spaniards, and that could cost Martin.
Well, we're close to the home of FC Barcelona, and that was a proper shoulder barge, wasn't it? Martin on Alex Marquez there as they went through turn 7 and 8, and this has given clear daylight here to Acosta at the front. He'll be blissfully aware of all the drama that's unfolded behind him on this first lap. Martin makes a real hash of turn 10.
Oh, Zarco nearly lost it.
Well, Zarco, if he'd lost it there, he'd cleaned Jorge out.
Yeah, he was almost in the opposite turn. Now contact between Zarco and Frankie Morbidelli, and this could let Jorge Martin back through, but this is all giving the front three a major break behind them. Behind Martin is Gian Antonio 7th, then Quartararo, and then it's Marco Bezzecchi 9th.
Zarco and Martin dodged the bullet there, didn't they? Firstly, Zarco. Martin put himself in that position on the outside of the face because he made a meal and breaks into turn 10. Zarco almost washed the front out himself and went down, and had he gone down, surely he'd have collected Jorge Martin on the outside then. Acosta's lead at the end of that first lap, 3/10 as Martin goes on the inside of Morbidelli on that long run into the first corner. So Martin in recovery mode. He's going to get on par with Zarco once again. On board then, looking back to Martin, it was a real nudge, wasn't it? A real nerf there from Martin. Martin is the quickest rider on circuit with a 1:40.123.
Yeah, I think it's very good news for Acosta as long as Ralph Fernandez is defending that second place, because you feel like the two riders that might be Acosta's greatest threats from here are Alex Marquez in third and Martin in fifth. Zarco's not listening to any of that though, is he? Up the inside, and he sends Alex Marquez out to the car park.
He really does send Alex out the car park. And Alex almost has his front wheel wiped away there by Jorge Martin. There has been some serious aggressive moves laid on by Joan Zarco in the part of this Grand Prix. Of course, he's perfectly entitled to, but not winning himself or doing himself any favours right now in the popularity stakes, is he?
Yeah, he's
brilliant to watch, awesome to watch him.
He's only popular at LCR right now because he's in the podium positions in third place. He's got his former team right behind him, and Martin from a long way back is chasing third place. What a start to the Grand Prix this has been for Jorge Martin. Just could not get it stopped though.
Yeah, he's just got to be patient here, Martin. Clearly he's got the superior speed over Joan Zarco. Just got to bide his time here, charging there to turn 10. Easy to say from our position, isn't it? Just operating at the patient game, but we're on board there now with Alex Marquez, who was roughed up, wasn't he, by Zarco at turn 5 on this lap. It's dropped Alex down to 5th place. He's trying to recover those lost places in the slipstream again. Look at this, what a time to ride on board with Alex as they went through the gearbox and almost 350 kilometres an hour.
Yeah, Martin's busy attacking rather than defending. He takes Zarco then for that third place. That's why Alex couldn't make his way through, because the Aprilia is so fast in a straight line. Ralph Fernandez though took 3/10 out of Acosta once he'd won that battle into turn 1 with Alex Marquez. Fernandez just took a 3/10 bite out of Acosta's lead.
How much of these riders already protecting those tyres? The fastest lap of the Grand Prix so far, well, Ralph Fernandez just had a PB lap as Alex goes through on Joan Zarco. He runs wide and Zarco will just keep the inside line. He'll hug that red and white paint on the inside of 4. Alex now down the hill into turn 5, trying to deal with the pesky Frenchman here right now. Alex then does get back through at turn 5. We're about a second off the pace of the best sprint lap yesterday, which was a 1:39.209 on the second lap by Alex Marquez. On board with Acosta, up to about 280 kilometres an hour, 4th gear before they drop back down a couple of gears into this tight left-hander, turn 10. Yeah, Fernandez, having got to the front, just straight away dipped into those 1:39s. Of course, we're going to be looking at the lap times and just how they change from the early part of this Grand Prix into those crucial final laps, just to see who has been able to nurse the rubber best.
Might not be the worst thing this for Pedro Acosta. I'll just sit behind you, Raul. You keep doing 139s. You keep stressing your tyres out at the front of the Grand Prix, and I'll just try and save a little bit behind you in second place. Acosta did his personal best last time around on a 40.1. Is he prepared to sit there, or is he wanting to take the high ground back again? He wants the lead back again. This time it's Fernandez who has to jump out of his way.
Yeah, because he's obviously wary as well with the air behind Fernandez. He's going to be having issues maybe with his front tyre temperature and his front tyre pressure raising pretty rapidly. I wonder whether that's also a factor at play here as far as Acosta goes. Through we go then into turn 4. How's Alex Marquez getting on as he tries to fight back up, drop down to 5th or 6th, didn't he, after Zarco's aggression? Yeah, and Alex is looking quick, he's looking strong. That's now successive laps. The only rider in this Grand Prix so far to pick off back-to-back 139s. Alex Marquez 1.1 seconds behind Fernandez. Acosta then in the slipstream. We know how fast the KTM is in the start-finish straight, and Acosta is back at the front. Nothing that Fernandez can do about that at all. So as we start lap 8 of 24, it is Pedro, lap 9 rather, it's Acosta that's back at the front.
I'm very interested to see if Acosta puts a bit of a spurt on now with Fernandez between himself and Alex Marquez. Is this an opportunity for Acosta just to build a little bit of a gap ahead of the rider who we think is going to be his likeliest threat here, the rider in 3rd place, Alex Marquez? Key phase of the race this now potentially for Acosta.
So KTM, Aprilia, Ducati at the moment is your top 3. What a shot that is on board with Alex Marquez. Ralph Fernandez almost scraping his elbow on the tarmac through that 3rd gear turn 14, and Fernandez, well, he got blasted by Pedro Acosta on this long run down to the 1st corner. This time around there's nothing you can do about Alex Marquez. Alex had the rear wheel hopping in the air though, didn't he, as he braked into the 1st corner. He's done awesome there actually to make sure he hits the apex there. So Alex Marquez then up into 2nd place. Trouble brewing here for Acosta.
Yeah, crucially, just keeping tabs with Raul Fernandez, with Acosta ahead. Yellow flags have come out, and it's Enea Bastianini's name who is tumbling down the order somewhere in the 1st sector.
Here is Acosta then. He'll just be going all in here, won't he? Tooth and nail for that 1st Grand Prix victory. Out of 8 he goes. Bit of a wheelie there as he was on the power through the fast right-hander of turn 9, making sure that you ease the power on. You don't want to leave yourself susceptible to a pass from... Acosta got a problem.
Alex Marquez,
Acosta,
jump off it.
Oh, dearie me. Acosta had a problem.
That's going to be a red flag.
This is a red flag. This is a red flag. Something happened to Pedro Acosta's KTM. It cut out. Pedro Acosta had a major technical issue there on the factory KTM.
Debris as well. He's
factory
in pain.
KTM behind him with nowhere to go. Alex Marquez had no room whatsoever to take any kind of avoiding or evasive action. Drama here then.
This is what it looked like. Let's listen to Pedro Acosta's KTM.
That's genuinely terrifying. A real super scary incident here. We're on board with Acosta.
All riders, as you can see there on screens, eligible for the restart except Bastianini, who retired shortly before the stoppage, and Alex Marquez, who of course crashed, having run into the back of Acosta's breaking down KTM.
Alex Marquez, who is in the ambulance, being returned now to the Circuit Medical Centre. But here we go then, take 2 in Catalunya. Lights out, and we're racing once again here in MotoGP in Barcelona, and this time around it is Jorge Martin who makes another stunning start on the factory of Aprilia. He drops in behind Pedro Acosta. Joan Mir's got away well, 2-1, the number 36 factory Honda. Mir's going to drop in second place.
Into Marini and Bagnaia.
Oh, and Zarco's got tangled in the bike. Zarco got stuck in the rear tyre. This could be another red flag. On the back of a scooter. There is Marini. You can just see him in the middle of the picture. It's a great start by his fellow factory Honda rider Joan Mir around the outside. We're on board at the moment with the factory Aprilia. World Championship leader Marco Bezzecchi. He's got Ralph Fernandez directly ahead of him, and unfortunately Joan Zarco, just in way too hot, makes contact with Marini's rear tyre. As the Catalan Grand Prix take 3, lights out and racing in here in Montmello. It's another poor start by Fabio Di Gianantonio on the 49 VR46 Ducati. He's been passed already by Joan Mir. Acosta and Martin are going to go toe-to-toe and tough it out on the brakes into the 1st corner. Once again, it's Acosta though that just drops across the head of the factory Aprilia rider. Ralph Fernandez there in 3rd place. Joan Mir's had a good start once again. He's in 4th on the factory Honda.
And Pecco Bagnaia, credit to him, his left hand in pain. He's also made a very good start. He's straight up into 5th place. Also twice former winner here.
inside. Well, these two rubbed fairings yesterday in the sprint at turn 5, and Ralph Hernandez will talk about an own goal as far as Aprilia are concerned. Ralph Hernandez on the inside of Jorge Martin. Martin squeezed him, which was perfectly entitled to do. So Jorge Martin, after a double win in Le Mans last weekend, now has a double DNF.
One Aprilia takes out another, and just ever get the feeling Pedro Acosta today might just be your day. Clattered by Alex Marquez, was able to take the restart. He's now leading this Grand Prix map from Joan Mir, Pecco Bagnaia and Fabio Quartararo.
This is a big talking point, a big controversial moment in this year's MotoGP World Challenge, because has that once again denied Jorge Martin the chance to lead this year's championship? Oh, Massimo Riva.
Discussions there, weren't they? Massimo Riva and the outgoing Davide Brivio at the end of this season. I'm not really sure what Davide Brivio could say at this stage, because it was Raul who made the contact. Jorge Martin so often puts his left shoulder down through turn 5. Unfortunately, his left shoulder was contacted by a Trackhouse Aprilia.
No further action then taken in the incident by Martin and Fernandez. A racing incident, but an incident which is going to be a major talking point as far as Aprilia are concerned, as the Gian Antonio comes from a long way back on the inside of Pecco Bagnaia. Didier then up into P3, and now this could spell trouble as far as Acosta and Mir are concerned, because once Didier can get into his rhythm, well, we know how quick he was in the sprint yesterday. This is effectively another sprint here in Barcelona, and now having worked his way through on Bagnaia, we know he's got the pace to get ahead of the two Spaniards. Massive pressure right now. Humongous pressure being thrown at him by both Mir and the Gian Antonio.
Gian Antonio, if he wants to make his move, he needs to make it soon. Here comes that move up in the second place past Mir.
Yeah, and this is concerning if you're Acosta and KTM, because, as mentioned, the Gian Antonio was lightning quick at the end of yesterday's sprint, and now, having finally worked his way through on Mir, he has given himself plenty of time. He's given himself 4 laps and a couple of corners here now to reel in and pass Acosta.
Well, he said how much would it hurt if Acosta loses a first victory to Joan Mir. I think the one thing that would hurt less is if he loses it to, of all people, the rider who passed at him and gave him the stare in Le Mans last week, Fabio Di Gian Antonio. Imagine
if Didier passes him and then out the last corner he gives him a good long look. Yeah, Didier trying to waste precious little time here and getting to the front. Once again though, Acosta on the brakes into that first corner is just absolutely phenomenal. He is doing everything. He is absolutely wringing the neck of that KTM right now to try and keep himself ahead of Didier. Somehow Costa's still in the front of the shortened Grand Prix, but Aldeguer and Agura now are coming to play.
And Gian Antonio's had long enough now, a couple laps, to look at Costa up ahead of him, to work out where he's strong, where he's weak. He's already found out that it's very difficult to outbrake that number 37. As good as Gian Antonio is, can he get that Ducati stop? Is he just going to park it on the inside of Pedro Acosta and force it to give the lead up? Acosta's not going to give this up without an almighty fight.
On the cut, back goes Acosta. The Gian Antonio's going to have the inside line though, going through turn 12. Acosta will be hating this. He'll be despising this with every inch of his body, because this history, isn't there? Last weekend in the French Grand Prix, he did not like it when Fabio Di Gian Antonio passed him for 4th at the final corner and had a good double stare looking back at Acosta. It ruffled the 37's feathers. Has Acosta got anything though now? Fabio Di Gian Antonio with Valentino watching on from trackside. Is Didier going to win the first Grand Prix for VR46 in 3 years? No pain, no gain. The Gian Antonio, what a moment this is going to be potentially for the Italian. What a moment for him to win just his second ever race with the boss watching on. Valentino Rossi, a Hall of Famer, will be absolutely loving this. Can Mir relegate Acosta back to 3rd place? Can Acosta hold on to the podium? Out of the final corner we go. 4.6 kilometres standing in between Fabio Di Gian Antonio and a VR46 Ducati win here.
Well, Mir's been trying this all all afternoon, ever since the restart. This time he is just going to launch it on the inside of Pedro Acosta, who didn't have the braking capacity that time. Mir up into second place, and a rare podium beckons for the 2020 World Champion.
Acosta's losing the podium here. Acosta's not going to be on the podium if he's not careful. He isn't. He's got no grip. He has got no edge grip whatsoever. A sitting duck, a passenger. Aldeguer dives on the inside of Acosta with the better edge grip through turn 4 we go now. So Aldeguer is through, and Pedro Acosta, having led for so much of this 12-lap Grand Prix, he might even take the checkered flag here in 5th. The Gian Antonio has cleared off. He has checked out. What has Acosta got left? Can Agura make it back-to-back podiums? That's going to be the story to complete this Catalan Grand Prix.
What a story, though, for Fabio Di Gianantonio, a rider who it would appear is leaving VR46 at the end of next season. They are still trying very, very hard to keep hold of him for next season, and he's giving the perfect demonstration this afternoon of why they want to keep him.
Into turn 10, Fabio Di Gianantonio goes. His solitary MotoGP victory came under the night lights in Qatar back in 2023 when he was a Gresini Ducati rider, but this one is going to be super, super sweet. It looks like Joan Mir and Fermin Aldeguer are going to crush Acosta's hopes here. Acosta, having done so much of the front running, won't even be on the box here. This is going to be heartache for Acosta, but through the final corner we go. Fabio Di Gianantonio is your leader. Acosta goes down, but it's just what the doctor ordered. With Valentino watching trackside, his rider Fabio Di Gianantonio wins the shortened Catalan Grand Prix. Drama throughout this afternoon in the top class. Poor old Pedro Acosta. Contact there. It's been a pretty controversial Catalan Grand Prix eventually for Trackhouse Aprilia, with both Ralph Fernandez and now Agura both being investigated by the stewards. Acosta gets dumped on his backside through the final corner. What a shortened Catalan Grand Prix that was.
Now the Grand Prix results. Di Gianantonio takes the second MotoGP victory of his career and a huge 25 points in Barcelona. Due to a penalty from a tire pressure violation, Joan Mir drops out of the top 10, moving Aldeguer to second and Pecco onto the podium. And Agura also moves from P4 to P9 after receiving a post-race penalty.